Hopefully this will be working properly from here next week. But I do apologise once again. We're just doing it straight from the PlayStation, so there will be the drivers are on PlayStation and can get into this party. So we apologise about that. Kenny's going to talk you through qualifying. I've got to input all the race 1 results.
Okay, yes, as Matt Duffin puts on his secretary short skirt and does a load of typing, I'll try and give you a bit of a recap. We're 6 minutes left to qualify in this 15-minute session. Ben Rook was at the top of the times for quite some time, but has now been beaten by Williams in second, and Kieran O'Reilly, the man on form, is your fastest man at the moment on a 57.1. So your top 10 looking like this. Kieran O'Reilly is your quickest at the moment. Williams second, Ben Rook third, Schmidt is fourth, Silth in fifth, Jimenez is sixth, Komar seventh, Clouden eighth, Harris the top, no he's not, Jimenez with the top gold runner in sixth, Harris in ninth, gold runner, and Matt Wright is rounding out the top 10 as we speak with just about under 5.5 minutes to go. Dan Davis in 11th, Mike Matthews in 14th, Skunky down the order, Langley, Vitas also with work to do. This longer track round here at Silverstone means that they aren't quite so tight on the track. All cars were on track just a few moments ago, but now there's a few who've retired to the pits for the moment to maybe have a bit of a regroup and whatever, as Dan Davis does exactly that, maybe given another set of tyres. Remember, we've only got 7 sets of tyres they can use for the whole meeting, so they have to be careful on tyres. And Williams in the pit as well. He starts, he's just sat in the pits as well. Dan Davis in the pits. He's going back out for another go. Khan's in the pits. And Gillies has just left the pits as well for another crack at it. So, Kieran O'Reilly, where's Williams, as I said, in the pits. Ben Rook in third place. He's coming round down to the Vale chicane for another crack at it. Who else is moving on up at the moment? Clouden into the top 8, having a great run this evening and doing very well tonight. My laptop has decided to jump over to something completely different to the stream. So I presume we're still, Matt is probably inputting from the screen that you're seeing at the moment. So don't worry about that. At the moment, see, I say Dan's still with work to do now in 12th position, dropping down the order. Jimenez, as I said, in the pits at the moment, but he's your fastest gold runner at the moment, just half a second off the lead. And remembering it's a long track here at Silverstone, FIA Grade 1. First 17 positions are covered by a second. So, I mean, that's pretty tight considering, isn't it, the length of this track and so on and so forth. So, where are we? Still no real movers and shakers as we're into this kind of lull session of qualifying at the moment. Don't see anybody going particularly quicker at the moment. Welcome back to you guys in the stream, and those of you watching, thanks for bearing with us. These technical stuff, you know, it's like internet stuff and, you know, multiple systems to bring you all this coverage, and yeah, sometimes it's all just a bit of a dark art, trying to work out, you know, what's going on and why it's behaving the way it is. So I hope it's not spoiling your enjoyment too much, and keep the comments coming in the chat. We love to hear them. 2 minutes left to qualifying, 2 and a bit minutes, and who's going to go quicker at the moment? Doesn't seem to be anybody jumping up at the moment. As you can probably see on your screen at the moment, a table of results, and as I say, that's Matt having to input the results. He spent all the break trying to sort out our issues, and now has all his normal clerical work to work out at the moment. So at the moment, still Kieran O'Reilly. I think he's on a hot lap at the moment. He's coming through out onto the Wellington Straight Flat scat all the way down the Wellington Straight. I always say this Honda's got no straight line speed, but he seems to be able to set it up, so it certainly has. Into the corner, it's a long right-hander before you get to the Vale chicane, and you pull out to the left, come back over to the right before you hit the Vale chicane, and down a couple of gears, pick up the apex on the inside. The car goes very light on the outside, hard to get on the power as another very quick right-hander before they come across the GP start-finish straight. Flat scat into what is normally your turn one for a Grand Prix. Lots of curb Kieran O'Reilly taking, which is perfectly normal as he comes up now to the village section. Probably what I'm watching and what you're seeing on track. I don't know if it's the same thing. No, we're on with Ben Rook on there, so let's jump to Ben Rook and see if I can try and be close to what you're seeing on track. Ben going well in this session. He's only just under 2/10 away from the ultimate lap, but as he goes wide in that particular try, and comes to a stop, returns to pits. That's probably him done and dusted. Williams has stopped into pits quite some time ago, so it looks like he's given it up. Jimenez again also giving it up. He's the highest gold runner at the moment, absolutely flying, and a few places ahead of his close rival, which is Harris. Williams has given it up. Kieran O'Reilly is, by the looks of it, got over the line with a couple of seconds to go. Ben Rook has given it up. He's in the pits. Skunky with a good showing in fourth. Okay, everyone who's across the line now will be out of time. So checkered flag for Ian McGowan. Checkered flag for Harris. They're done and dusted. As I fall further down the order, still loads of people on track having that last attempt at trying to get a good lap time in. But as I said, Ben done, Skunky's still on track, Smith's done, Silth's done, McGowan's done, Jimenez is done, Rosowski's done, Komar still on track as well. He's coming down to the Vale chicane, and I don't know if he's on a quick one. Looks like his lap might be invalid by what I can see on my screen. Clouden done, only 11th place for Clouden. See what he can do from there. Dan's still on a lap, still trying to improve from that 13th place. He'll want to do better than that. Matt Wright is done. Mike Matthews in 15th place, and he's still on the track and giving it a go. As is Bolton. Cardano's in the pits. He's done. So who have we got left? So Skunky. 16. Dan is the last person who's on a valid lap at the moment, and only a couple left on track now. So Dan comes round the final corner across the line. Does he improve on 13th? Yes, he does. Jumps to 8th place. And who's next? The 712 of Mike Matthews. He's done. No, not Mike Matthews. Kieran O'Reilly still on track, still trying to go quicker. He doesn't have to now. I say he doesn't have to. He could be beaten by the people behind him. But Kieran comes across the line. Does he go any quicker? Yes, he does go fractionally quicker. And Komar, I think, is the next one to come across the line. And finishing off is the number 500, which is Gillies. So that's your qualifying done. Kieran O'Reilly with the quickest time. I can't scroll down the order now. That's Williams, I think, in second. Ben Rook in third. Skunky fourth. Schmidt in fifth. Silth in sixth. McGowan in seventh. Dan Davis in eighth. Bolton in ninth. Jimenez in 10th. That's your top 10. As we go down through, Rosowski, Komar, Clouden, Harris, Wright, and the PlayStation resets for the race. So that's your qualifying done. How you getting on, Matt?
Yep, all up to date. I'll tell you the championship orders, as I've now got to input all the qualifying results for points for the gold and the platinum. Obviously, Paul.
Do you want to do that a minute?
Jimenez there. Yeah, you run us through the grid, Kelly. But Jimenez there. I just wanted to put a point out about him. That is a heck of a qualifying.
Yeah. For
a guy who's first race out in pro, that is a great qualifying lap inside the top 10.
Absolutely, that's going to upset Harris and Vitas and all the other gold runners. So as we said, Kieran O'Reilly on pole from Williams. That's Kieran O'Reilly, MSA Racing, and Williams, MSA Autosport. It's the Ben Rook, #1 driver, Team Audio Sport, in 3rd place. Skunky, the Casuals, he's in 5th place. Schmitz is 5th place with Silth just behind him in 6th for MSA. McGowan, the Casuals, he's in 8th place. Got company with Dan Davis next to him in number 8th. Bolton, number 9th. Jimenez, as I said, with a cracking qualifying to put it in the top 10. He's in 10th. 11th place is Rozowski. Komar in 12th. Clouden with a really good first run. He's got some work to do in 13th place. With Harris, another quick gold runner, in 14th place. Matt Wright, 15th, and Mike Matthews for company in that 16th position. Tom Cardano, he's in 17th, and got Carnes with company for him on that row. Vitas, not going as well as he has done in the early part of the season, in 19th. We'll see how he goes throughout the rest of the evening. Manavola is in 20th place as they get underway for their formation lap, warming the tyres, doing all the necessary stuff. Langley 21st, Butcher 22nd, Ramsell 23rd, Massino in 24th, and that guy in 25th, Oscar Gaski Guki or whatever. Castro, that sounded terrible, in 26th, DeCourt 27th, Hibbs 28th, Giles in 29th, Stardog 30th, Rob Smith in 31st. Overtaker is at the back of the grid. I don't know if he was on a qualifying ban.
He was in a qualifying
He was, yep. So that's why he's at the back of the grid with a lot of work to do. Unlikely that he's going to win this one. So they are, as I said, under formation lap. They spend their time warming up their tyres. When they leave the grid, their tyres are warm, but they cool down as they go around the grid. So they will be kind of leaning on the brake, trying to keep the temperatures as high as possible. Of course, the most stressful part of any race is turn 1, and that's when you want the tyres underneath you best you can. And that's when they've cooled off, so they've got to try and warm those tyres. The weaving from side to side thing doesn't really do any good in here or in real motorsport. So, kind of unnecessary really. They'll be warming the tyres by standing on the brakes a little bit, transferring the heat of the brakes through the calipers and into the wheels. Kieran O'Reilly is about halfway around the track and coming up to the GP start-finish straight.
Yep.
As they are doing all their preparation, getting ready. Of course, there's one mandatory pit stop throughout this race. You do not have to take tyres if you don't want to.
Do you want a championship update, Kelly?
Oh, yes, please, Matt.
Now that I've done all the qualifying procedures, we can get a championship update. Ben Rook, championship leader. Skittles inbound, 6 points clear of Kieran O'Reilly, 17 clear of Silf, and 24 clear of Dan Davis. The interesting one here,
number 1
for me, isn't Ben taking the championship lead, because it was only a 12-point gap.
Yeah.
But about 50 odd points behind was Schmidt. He's only 26 off the championship lead now. So Schmidt's the interesting one for me. He's brought himself into this five-way fight. Rosowski's only 49 behind. Komar's only 59 behind. So top 7 separated by barely anything, considering you get 87 points, or 86 now after O'Reilly's pole. So interesting there. Cloudon's
half
ninth.
Distance in the championship.
And this is the halfway stage of the race, so really anything can happen. Mike's 10th, Cloudon's 9th, Matt Wright's up to 11th, DS 12th, Hoop at 13th, Carlos 14th, from McGowan, Bolton, Skunky, Leger, Mezin, Overtaker and Hotchhausen then. And in the Gold Championship, Vitas leads by 61 points, so that's gone up a little bit to Harris. Hibbs is 3rd, Langley moves up to 4th, Cardno now up to 5th, Kane's down to 6th, Watkowiak is 7th, from Butcher, DeCourt, Castro, Class, Jimenez, Messino, Manavola, Stardog, Smith, Ramsell, Gillies and Lojek. And then it was tied on points between Audio Sport and MSA Racing until O'Reilly took pole position. So MSA Racing lead by 1 point from Audio Sport at the moment.
Get on.
275 points ahead of MSA Autosport, so it's still a two-horse race.
A bit of
Momentum
a
Motorsport P4, Racing Soft, Simple Motorsport, Blaze Motorsport, Schwitzer Racing, Greasy Bandits Racing, Bearded Racing, and the Balkan Sim Hub as we are about to get underway. And as Kelly said, we do apologise for the interruptions in today's broadcast. We've got it now set so that It's just coming through the PlayStation, so there's no fancy overlays or anything. We're only going to be able to speak with PlayStation users for interviews, so we apologise for that one as well. But we're about to get underway here, Kelly, in this race for the halfway stage of the season, like you've said.
Yes, absolutely. And we're about to go green as they roll up to the line, stayed at 70 miles an hour. We're green and go. And even start from where I'm sitting into turn 1. Kieran O'Reilly, and he's got Williams there for close company. Ben Rook also in close company, of course, and O'Reilly under pressure from Williams as they go through Maggots and Beckett's for the first time. I can't see further back in the way I've got, but I'm on board with Jimenez, who's gone back just a little bit and looks to be reasonably clean in front as they jostle for positions. I'm now on board with McGowan, who goes wide. Also Skunky as well. Come side by side with Rozowski and Davis.
Oh, no, Jimenez is round, Kelly. Just seen the 2 yellow flags. It's Jimenez, and I believe that is DeCourt. That also looks like Messino has had a moment at the exit of Maggots and Beckett's. So 3 of the gold drivers being caught up in issues there. It is Messino, Court and Jimenez all having dramas, but it was a good, clean start from everybody. Schmidt on the back of Ben Rook here. He's really brought himself into this championship, hasn't he? Silt's up to 5th.
Absolutely.
Dan's now running in 7th place, it says, but he's ahead of Skunky, so it's actually 6th place. So really, your championship protagonists are all together. Ball Rozowski, who's down in 9th place at the moment. Komar fending off that of Jamal Clouden, who's moved up ahead of Bolton. He's under pressure from Castro, way down the pack.
Silth's got a run on Schmidt. Schmidt went had a bit of a moment over one of the curbs, and Silth has done his up and under again through Village. That seems to be his bit of his trademark tonight. He's done that on a couple of people and caught them out, and he's done it to Schmidt as well. So Silth in front of Schmidt. Now looking to, he's got to catch up a second and a half. The top 3 have pulled away in half a lap. So he's got to bring it.
Sorry, Kelly, Dan's just having a look around the outside of Brooklands at Schmidt, but couldn't get it done. Tucks back in behind because Skunky was there for the takings, but it's O'Reilly who leads at the end of lap number 1 from Williams, from Rook. Now it's Silth, then Schmidt, then Dan Davis and Skunky, McGowan, Rozowski all in close company. Bit of breathing space back to Komar in 10th and Clouden 11th. Michael Harris is your gold leader in 12th from Matt Wright in the platinum category. Cardno's in 2nd place in gold. He's having a cracking day. He won the gold race first time out, so great day for Cardno at the moment. He's got the championship leader of Vitas just behind him. Then comes Mike Matthews and Langley. Gap back to Butcher, Watkowiak, then Bolton, Hibbs, Overtaker from the back of the grid, only up to 22nd at the moment. Then it's Gilly, Stardog, Smith, Manavola. Keynes is in the pit. DeCourt stayed out, Messino stayed out, Ramsel also in the pits. Castro's got a huge amount of damage. That bonnet is nearly off the car. He comes into the pit lane, and Jimenez also in as well. But a good little scrap here between Schmidt, Silf, Dan and Skunky at the moment.
Yes, indeed. I was just looking back at Castro's bonnet. Yeah, that's absolutely completely buckled. Yeah, and that won't polish out. Yes, the top 3 is still Silth has got a lap later. Still hasn't pulled these 3 in, so they're got good pace. Schmidt, Dan Davis have parted company a little bit of a gap between the 2, but Skunky still very close company with Dan at the moment. McGowan just with a watching brief behind that. Skunky has a look up the inside into the start of the Village, has a look at that move on the inside line before the Wellington Straight, but can't get it done there. It's not happening for him there. So Dan with the Lexus power gets good traction onto the Wellington Straight and pulls just away just a little bit from Skunky now.
Indeed he does, and this is going to be an interesting one to see what happens here. Rozowski looking on the back of McGowan, coming in towards Brooklands. As we go down the order, Harris has got, it says he was a bit closer to Clouden, but when we go on to him, he's actually nowhere near him. Cardno under pressure from Vitas. Vitas looks to try and really keep it tight underneath Cardno coming through Luffield. Got to be careful though, because Mike Matthews and Greg Langley are waiting in the wings if Vitas or Cardno make a mistake here. And down the order we see that Keynes is done. Rob Ramsell's still out on track, so I don't know if he's done his pit stop. If he hasn't completed it fully, and he'll have to pit again. Castro into the pits still with that big damage, but further forward Williams still keeping the pressure on O'Reilly, but he's under massive amounts of pressure from Ben Rook going onto the hanger straight.
Absolutely, and sorry, I was trying to bring up a track map on my PC because I should know these corners much better than this, and now I'm struggling just to make my PC works. So, yes, where are we? Ben Ruck with the quickest lap at the moment. He's just 3/10 off Williams, who's not a million miles away from your leader at the moment, Kieran O'Reilly. But Kieran O'Reilly, very, very used to sucking up pressure, has done it week in, week out. So he'll suck up the pressure from Williams. And where have we got from there? Schmidt still in close company with Sills. Sills hasn't really cruised up to the back of the leading pack yet. Dan has gapped Skunky just a little bit at the moment. Rosowski coming back at McGowan a little bit now.
Indeed he is. So an interesting little fight 5 minutes into this race. Just a few packs starting to develop, and we're just seeing that I don't think Sylph and the fact of Dan have the pace of O'Reilly and Ben tonight. Them two seem to have checked out, and the other LSA Racing and Audio Sport driver just not able to go with them. But it's only early in this race.
I was going to say,
so
it's
anything
early days.
can happen.
Yeah, absolutely early days. So anything can happen, as you quite correctly said, Matt. So yeah, still a long way to go in this race, and it's not how you start, it's how you finish, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed it is. Back down to that of Vitas on the back of Cardno for 14th and 15th. Mike is pretty close to the back of Vitas, as is Langley to the back of Mike. They've not got to worry about Butcher behind, so they're pulling away from Butcher. And to be fair to Cardno, he's within 7/10 of Matt Wright, so it's not like he's a million miles behind. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting fight, I think, to keep our eyes on.
Yeah, there's going to be some interesting fights up and down, as you said earlier, as the Silverstone circuit lends itself to overtaking more than many others of the tracks we go to. So it should be a place you can overtake. So I'm still stupidly trying to bring up a track map. How incredibly difficult can it be?
Here comes Vitas. Sorry, Kelly, on the outside of Cardno in towards Stoke. No, backs back out of that one.
And yes, okay, right, Farm Village, that's what I was thinking, Village in the Loop, and that's the bit I was trying to. So I'm on board with Rosowski at the moment, who's just there behind McGowan. I say it's a track for overtaking, but we haven't seen too much of it in the first few minutes of this race, in the first 10. So who's close? Manavola, no, not as close as it looks once we're on track. So there's a problem with this game as well, isn't it? The times don't update. They're not in real time. I tell you, it's close. You were mentioning before, it's Vitas on the back of Tom Cardino as well. I can't believe that Tom's only done 50 races. He was with us back in the early days, wasn't he, for the Clio Challenge?
He's only with us. No, I only think he did the touring cars. I don't think he did the Clios.
I'm sure he did the Clios, didn't he? As Cobb, I'm sure
he may have done that. I can't remember, but obviously we know him from another league of previous, and 50th race start for Cobb in race 1 tonight. So let's see what he can do. Obviously the gold win on his 50th race as well, so that's huge for him.
Nice, yeah, absolutely. That's a nice little medal just there, isn't it? So Tom going well. Really nice guy he is. I did the endurance with him. Very patient with all the problems I had in the endurance. Great little driver he is. It's nice to see him doing well. But he's not the top runner in the gold. That's is Harris, and continuing with the form that he's shown in the last few races, and looking good. Back at the front, Kieran O'Reilly is still in front, half a second in front of Williams. Ben Ruck, these guys still in very, very close company. Silth with a watching brief. I mean, he's dropped back and he can't really make up that gap, but it's not that far away to be too much of a problem. He can see what's going on in front of him and be ready to react if any of these three have a little bit of a problem. And it won't start to really pan out until we get into the pit stops and see what everyone's doing and what their strategies are.
Yeah, 100%, and it's going to be an interesting one to see. Ben's just got onto the back of Williams, and then he's again lost out, and Williams has got onto the back of Kieran O'Reilly. Them gaps, like Kelly said, because they're not live, it kind of throws you off a little bit. You go to it, and it's actually bigger than what you think. But O'Reilly's not got this one comfortable at the moment. Rosowski's still close to McGowan. McGowan close to his teammate of Skunky. Well, Skunky has dropped off the back of Dan. Dan's sticking with Schmidt, but this has allowed Sylph to get away. Dan's not really putting Schmidt under any amount of pressure at the moment. Then we've got Jamal, who's stuck behind Komar. That gap is 9/10 of a second. Then you've got a train of Harris, Wright, Cardno, Vitas, Matthews, Langley, and Butcher just cannot get onto the back of these two. He's under pressure from Bolton as well. The surprise at the minute for me is Overtaker's not come through the field as quick as I thought he would.
Yeah, no, 21st position at the moment. Well, I guess you say that, Matt. That is. Dan having a look into Cops and has a look round the outside. Can't make it stick from there. Round the outside, I mean, down the inside is one thing. Apparently that's impossible, but it's not. But round the outside, I don't know about that. Yeah, that's a little bit crazy. But Dan is certainly on a mission. Flashing at the lights, touring car Stiley, to tell Schmidt that he's here. Hello, I'm here. I want that position, please. Schmidt goes a little bit deep as they go out on Hanger Straight. Yep, Hanger Straight. And Hanger Straight down to Stowe. That's the one I couldn't remember. Stowe is another one of those weird corners. You come in very, very fast, pick up the apex, and you want to carry more speed on the exit, but you just can't. It's so easy to run wide as they come down once again into the Vale chicane, and left and a right again. The right-hander tricky on traction, quite easy for the back end to start stepping out, and you.
No, well, while you were saying that, sorry, I've just gone down to the back of Matt Wright, and he has got Cordno right up his chuff for company with Vitas, Mike, and Langley's just dropped off the back a little bit, so not sure what's happened to Matt Wright at the moment, but he's got Cordno in close proximity at the moment, and Cloudon's lost out a little bit more to Comar this sector. Lost out about half a second, and that's put Harris onto the back of him slightly. So drivers doing different strategies at the moment, and it's just an interesting one to see this play out. I think Chris is right in the chat. This could come down to a pit strategy.
Absolutely. And I think Silter's had a bit of a moment as well, because he's dropped back to Schmidt. The gap now between him and Ben Rook is a couple of seconds, nearly 3 seconds. So, it could be that Silth had a little bit of an issue. And
we've still got, Kelly, though, a great look at the track map. We've still got a great train of cars. There's battles throughout here. Even though there's no overtaking happening, there's a good train of cars where anything could happen in this race at the moment. As Wrighty's now pulled away from Cardno, so Vitas back
Schmidt
on
with
him.
the moment. Sorry, mate, Schmidt, we've got it very, very sideways through Cops. That's given Dan a run. He'll be brave to try and do it through Maggots and Beckett's. It's pretty much a flat-out section through there. There's not an awful lot can be done, although you can get the drive out of that section down the straight, and Schmidt so close to Silth as well. Nip and tuck with these guys for sure.
I tell you what, I like what Mike Matthews has done. He was in that train behind Matt Wright. He was sat in the middle of it. He's boxed. I kind of like that from Mike. He's clearly not gaining on the straights to be able to make a move into the corners. So he's going for the undercut. He's going to try and get track position here, I think, because look, when he comes out the pits, there's two back markers, that of Keynes and Ramsell, coming through Village now, and where Mike Matthews is going to come out the pits should be ahead of them, I'd imagine, because he's been in the pits for a while now. I like this from Mike. I think this is good to be in clean air, being able to pump in some good lap times.
Yep, absolutely, and you might as well do something, you know. And,
if you're not gaining in the train, Kelly, you've got to try and think of a strategy, haven't you? And that could have been the strategy that Mike's thought of there.
Yes, indeed, that could have been. Let's see how that pans out for him as he goes further through this race. Again, Dan just dropping off the back of Schmidt a little bit. Schmidt still in close company. See, Dan can still see the leaders. As they come down the Wellington Straight, you can still see them going into Brooklands in the distance. So, you know, in sixth position, I still think Dan's in a strong position. But in a strong position is Kieran O'Reilly. And I was going to tell you about a couple of little things that happened in my world this week. And one of them being that one of my suppliers that supplies me with audio equipment, car audio equipment, the guy I deal with is called Kieran, right? And I noticed on his email yesterday, I think it was, that he's called Kieran O'Reilly. And I thought, hang on a minute, Kieran O'Reilly? Really? Kieran O'Reilly. And I've spoke to him on the phone, and it isn't the same Kieran O'Reilly. He spells his name differently as well. Spells it with a C. And the Kieran O'Reilly that I deal with is a Brummy, and Kieran O'Reilly that you see on track is a bit further up than that, more northern, isn't he? wouldn't like to hazard a guess where. Yorkshire, maybe, I don't know, maybe something like that. Not the same. Well, I don't think it's the same Kieran O'Reilly. I mean, I've never seen him in the same room together. But yeah, I just thought I had to double take, and I thought, Kieran O'Reilly. Just like one world stepping into another.
One of them second glances at your screen.
Yeah. You really call Kieran. Funnily enough, there's a very famous BMXer called Kieran Riley as well.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there's Kieran Rileys all over Kieran and Kieran O'Reillys all over the place. They're taking over the world. So I thought it was just a funny one to tell.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think that's brilliant. Leger's just asked how Mike Matthews is doing. Well, he's the lead pit runner at the moment. But if you look at the track map, look at the clear air that Mike is in. He's at Maggots and Beckett's. The next call for position has just gone through Club. So he's got a lot of clear air. He was in a lot of traffic, and he couldn't. And nobody really tonight is gaining anything on these straights, are they, Kelly? Because the Lexus is straight line speed. It's got Paul brakes. So Dan's having to brake earlier, negating all that work he's just done. So I like this strategy from Mike. I really do, Leger. That's where he is. Vitas, so he was running in 16th place, and Vitas is still stuck behind Cardno, still stuck behind Wright. So we'll see what they could do. Monkey Boy says, watch them quantum cars when they overtake. No, they're fine tonight. It was only one in particular last night that was a little suspect. The quantum drivers tonight have been absolutely fantastic as Matt Wright bounces over the curb, makes sure he misses the molehills, and carries on chasing down
make a mountain out of
that of Harris. Now, what I've been noting, Kelly,
no excuses this week.
No excuses this week. Well, we did have time to pop into the other chat.
Yeah.
So, no excuses
Nothing
this week.
to add to the book.
100%. Yeah. We may get some at the end of the night. I'll text you if we do. One thing I did notice is that O'Reilly's now got a 2-second gap to Williams, and Rook has stuck to the back of Williams. Again, just proving it's hard to overtake around here because no driver's got the upper hand on the straights or in the braking zone. But Williams is now starting to fall behind that Honda.
Yeah, and he looks like the back end of that Mustang is getting a little bit on the loose side. We're only less than 20 minutes in, and we'll see how that progresses. I mean, we said at the start of the show, Silverstone easy to overtake around here. It's proving not. It's proving not easy to overtake with the pace that these pro drivers have got. Williams misses the apex quite severely as he comes into the village section and the loop. So is Williams just starting to struggle on the tyres? That's why he's starting to fall away from Kieran O'Reilly? We'll see again how that one progresses. Yeah, absolutely.
Schmidt's back on the rear of Silf once again. Kelly, he's got Dan sort of where Dan's been all race, hasn't he? Not quite up behind him, but not falling too far back. And they're not really being dropped by Ben Rook, are they? 2.9 seconds from Silf to Ben, so they can still see Ben, as you said a little earlier. It looked like Schmidt was having a look at the inside of Silf.
Silf was out of shape. Got the back end all out of shape into Woodcut, one of them. Got the back end all out of shape. That brought Schmidt right back onto the back of him again. Silf, the back end of that BM looking a little bit on the loose side as he runs wide out of cops. So
the BM seems to have. I find the BM has a crazy moment around the 15-20 minute mark, and it just starts to do things that I don't like. We're at the 20-minute mark of that race, so is Silf just going through that BMW? Not try and kill you, but it just feels like it loses all grip and just feels like it just kind of goes off for a 5 or 10 minute period. So is Silf suffering with this little period at the moment? And this is where Schmidt could take advantage. And he's been a man since he won one of the sprint races, I think back at the Nürburgring. He's been on fire and really looks to be, mounting a challenge back in this championship. He runs a little wide at the exit of Stowe, but we'll see what he can do. Very doable at the moment. Clouden has Scott Harris and Matt Wright for company as well, down in 11th place. So huge pressure that Clouden is under, but Clouden's a man who can handle the pressure. We know how good Jamal can be. Harris is your gold leader. Let's not forget that one as well, with Cardno second and Vitas in third. So good race for all these drivers at the moment. Just trying to see where Mike is in terms of, he's a sector behind that of Stardog. So at the moment we're not getting a clear sector gap for Mike to Stardog, because it's about a sector, just over a sector. But obviously all these drivers have got to do their pit stops, and we'll see what happens to Mike in this race. Ben Rook's lost a couple of tenths in this one. Go back to the Clouden and Michael Harris fight. That seems to be one of the closest little scraps on the circuit. Why does Ben Stream say he's in second, but he hasn't got past Williams? Not a clue.
He's
It's
not.
still saying he's third on our screen.
Yeah.
May have been a little bit of a lag moment where it's then popped up he's in second place until he goes through the next sector, Chris. But he's not second. He is third at this moment in time. We can clearly see Williams in front of him as well. So even if that is a glitch on Ben's end, it is not on ours. He's clearly in third place. So that's where it's to be. Schmidt, though, once again, back on the rear of Silf. Couple of tenths behind now.
Silf goes wide again.
Dan Davis just on the back of him.
Absolutely, I'm a bit on board with Schmidt for a while, watching the back end of Silth, and I mean that that BM all of a sudden looks, if it does go through a weird phase, all of a sudden it looks like he's got it back together again. Although he run wide out of Cops like he did before, and I would have thought there was track limits, so he's got to be careful of that because you don't want to drive through, especially not this early on in the race. But as you said, Dan's dragged himself back into this a little bit, so maybe Silth's strange BM phase, if that's a thing, then maybe that's what's happened, has brought these two back into play. So certainly there's a I mean, Kieran O'Reilly's now a couple of seconds ahead of Williams. I think Williams is starting to I don't think he can keep the pace of Kieran O'Reilly, but you've got the top three battle, and then you've got the 4, 5 and 6 battle as well, with Skunky not too far behind that. You then have there's no real big gaps at all, is there? Not opening at all. No, not until you get really down to obviously.
Sorry, Kelly, was just on the rear wing view of Schmidt's car. Dan nearly into the back of him, coming through that of Village, and Dan went a little deep. Now let's watch the Lexus here on the Wellington straight. Look, Schmidt at the moment, a couple of tenths ahead of Dan, 6 tenths to be precise. Look at how Dan's Lexus just starts to. I think Dan just runs out of times then, because runs out of time. And because the Lexus's brakes aren't as good, Dan's got to brake that little bit earlier, so he's not being able to use that Lexus top speed to his full advantage, with the straights just being a little shorter than you'd see elsewhere.
Absolutely, it just makes me think how that Lexus is going to be on the Conrod Straight, is it, next week for we go to Mount Panorama down under for Bathurst down there. Don't miss that one, because that is always great racing. That track always it's a challenge in itself, let alone with other
if you'll pardon the
35
pun,
other petrol heads on the
without 35 other petrol heads, but if you'll pardon the pun, you was in the team server earlier doing some testing. It's blinding. It's a blinding track. It's going to be a blinding race, and if you'll pardon the pun, for those who don't know, it's going to be an early morning race at 7 a.m. and the sun rises, and the sun is right in the driver's eyes, coming over the mountain just as you start to drop downhill. Very tricky. Rizalski into the pit lane looking for an undercut then. Like you need any more challenge. 30 odd cars on the track, Bathurst itself, and then you've got the sun that just makes corners vanish because you can't see anything.
I think it's. I don't know about you, Matt. Stop me if it's different for you. But I think it's one of those tracks when you do get into a groove and you start, and the lap time's coming to you. It's so rewarding. The sequence of corners when you get them right. And I mean, it only takes one wrong corner for it to go miserably wrong, right into the wall and game over. But it's one of those, when you get into the flow, I think it's very rewarding to drive once you get there, but getting there is quite an achievement.
I'll 100% agree with you on that one. I detest Bathurst, don't like it at all, can't find a rhythm, but for some reason, and I'm just looking at the most successful drivers at Bathurst when I find the track itself, for some reason I think I'm the most successful at it. Here we go, there's Bathurst. 3 pole positions and 3 race wins at Bathurst I've had. For some reason, this is GT4s, don't forget, but for some reason I've just been able to hook it up and put in good lap times, put in fastest laps and win the races. And, I don't know why, because I detest the track.
I mean, I like the track, and I have had one of my measly 6 or 7 race wins is at Bathurst, I mean,
Project Cars 2, I think.
I think it was, it was the Renault, and it was the season finale.
In the wet?
Which was it wet?
Yes,
I don't think it was wet.
Absolutely
was it wet?
tipping it down because there was a great river
sure?
at the final corner.
Remember.
I watched it back. I remember that race very well, because I still think Personally,
it's one of the most entertaining races.
I think that's one of the best races, and the best thing about it is mine and Dan's confusion over the championship. Remember, we had the reset button back in the day. If you used that, unless you was on your roof or side, that docked you 5 points because you weren't just allowed to reset, point the car in the right way. Maze Gamer used that, which put you, and you lost it by 1 second place that championship, and I to this day,
and I won that race.
You won that race. You had an instant care in race 1 that may have helped you win the championship, but I think to this day that is one of the best races we've had at Simplay Motorsport. Just for the confusion of me and Dan on commentary, you guys putting on absolute performance and a great show, and I just thought the whole thing, the weather with the we say about the blinding sun, this was rain, and Project Cars 2's rain physics wasn't great because you've got oceans in the middle of the road that if you didn't roll through it at 1 mile an hour, you just spin. And I just remember that race being so fantastic. If you want to watch back Pro-Am, I think it's season 5, maybe season 4 of Pro-Am. Go and check it out in the playlist.
It might be 4.
Season finale of either season 4 or season 5 Pro-Am at Bathurst on Project Cars 2. What a night that was. That was absolutely brilliant.
Wait for the moment that Matt and Dan's penny drops to them that I could still win the championship. It's a classic moment of them both going, hang on a minute, this could happen. Could it? Yeah. Oh my God.
And then that's why I think it was just one of the best races. I think the whole drama of that night, last race of the season, even we didn't know. It just made the whole night. Ben Rook's in the pits from 3rd place as Schmidt's having a look on the inside of Sylv into Maggots and Beckett's. That's not going to work there.
Interesting there.
Yes, very. We did have another pit runner. We've had Vitas behind Vitas. He's 4 seconds off the back, so the undercut hasn't really worked for Mike Matthews in this one. Overtaker into the pits from 20th.
Yes, just before we get any more action, I'll just tell you my other little story about this week, and it's completely unrelated to motorsport whatsoever. But I'm going to tell you anyway because it's a crazy little story. I went to work the other morning and opening up at Audio Sport Towers and doing my usual thing of all my procedure of opening up and all the rest of it. Went to the side gate to find. I walked around the corner and had the shock of my life because sitting there in front of my gates was a raccoon. An absolute living and breathing proper raccoon, right? As you can imagine, I myself and thought, what is that? At first I thought it was a badger, but then I realised it was a raccoon. I've taken a video of it as well and I showed it to Dan. He was like, what the hell? Anyway, this raccoon, my Audio Sport Towers is on a very busy main road, so I didn't want it to get killed by getting onto the road or a major accident on the road because of it being on the road. So I kind of ushered it into my yard, and it seemed to be reasonably friendly, or not that I kind of gave it any treats or anything or let the dog play with it, but it seemed to be reasonably tame. So I ushered it into my yard, and then I had an appointment, so I had to go out. By the time I came back, it disappeared. But it's been captured a couple of days later by the RSPCA about another 2 miles down the road from where we're situated in where Audio Sport's situated. So not something you see every day. I don't think I've ever seen one, let alone one right up in front of me. And as I say, I've got a video of it. It's quite fascinating. You don't bump into a raccoon every day.
No,
do you?
you don't. No, you don't.
I haven't seen the flamingo, Rob. No. Apparently that's in France now. We had a flamingo escape from a local wildlife park in Cornwall, and it's that's gone. That's flown. I think it's in France. Yeah. Wild animals getting released all the time. If you go to a town called Camborne, there's lots of wild animals there, and Rob will back me up on that one.
Chris is saying, on another note, how is Simplay feeling about the charity event this weekend? Feeling all right, feeling good.
Tell me about it.
Well, 24 hours of Silverstone. For a charity for another league called for meningitis.
Right, I remember you saying.
The owner of the league's nephew died at 5 years old with meningitis. We've done a few endurance races with this group on once a month on a weekend. So we're looking forward to getting our hands on the Ford Mustang at Silverstone. Bathurst is awesome to drive, but those walls have massive teeth.
Yeah, they do.
I think this is going to be an interesting Bathurst next week. I really do. I think it's going to be
cracking. All across the week.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Brandon Williams has come out of the pits. and has been jumped by Ben Ruck. So Ben Ruck has got the jump on him by 1.2 seconds, and Schmidt, who's pitted, is only 2.5 off of Brandon Williams. So undercut seems to be the better strategy here, provided you're pitting close to when the driver does the overcut. Obviously, Mike has lost out massively. Stardog in the pits. Mike has gained another place there. Dan on the back of Sylph, 0.8 of a second. Stop go for Stardog. That is a 30-second stop-go penalty. That is his race. Yeah. Pretty much ruined there. Sylph has pitted. So this will be interesting to see where Schmidt appears compared to Sylph. Yes. Dan's going to have to go a bit longer here, because I don't think, if Dan pits now, I think Schmidt will stay in front.
Yeah, he may have to play a longer game on this one. I suppose it depends how his tyres are bearing up. He's got clean air in front of him now. There's a good, clear 10 seconds to Kieran O'Reilly as Kieran O'Reilly extends his lead out in front. As I said, 10 seconds clear as Dan goes very wide as he comes out onto the Wellington straight. No real harm done other than that'll rattle his confidence a little bit, affect his lap time slightly. He needs to get his head down now and get some good fast laps in.
Well, Sylph hasn't gone green yet, and Ben Ruck is coming through Luffield, so keep your eyes on when Sylph goes green, because it's roughly around about as you enter Woodcote, which is now, that if you haven't gone green, you're probably not going to get out the pits in time. Sylph is still orange on his pit marker, and Ben Ruck is going to... No, sorry, it wasn't Ben Ruck with Sylph, was it? It was Schmidt with Sylph. Sylph has now gone green, and Schmidt is into... turn number 1. That's Rob Ramsell, who's a lap down ahead of Schmidt then, and Schmidt overtakes Sylph in the pit lane, and Rozalski nearly gets Sylph done as well. So if that's the undercut Schmidt's been able to do in clear air, get some pace in, Dan may need to start worrying about this, although Dan now has a bit of clear air until he gets to Stardog. He'll be wanting Stardog to box for his stop-go penalty, so that Dan can just have that little bit more clear road to O'Reilly. He's 11 seconds behind O'Reilly. That's how much O'Reilly's been on the pace here this afternoon. Battles on circuit. Closest one on track is for 23rd. Overtaker and Manavola. I wonder if Overtaker's just got that one done at Brooklands and Luffield then, because I'd imagine Overtaker would start to pull away. He's had good pace from over Manavola, and we'll see what happens. We've got another close one. Vitas and Langley going side by side, the two Pro-Am protagonists of last season. Langley got up the inside at Stowe. Vitas looking to the outside of Club now as they come down Vale into Club. You can get it done around the outside at Club, and he does get the move done under braking. He turns into the apex. Bit of the Kelly chop there, if I do say so myself,
Kelly chop
as they come through. Yeah,
more of a duffing one.
Sick of this duffing chop nonsense. Right, we've got O'Reilly, Dan, McGowan, Clouden and Wrighty into the pits.
I don't chop. I'd love to be in a position to be able to chop. Oh dear. And how many chopping days is it to Christmas then?
Not many. Not many. Let me tell you. Nearly December. Tree up yet, Kelly?
Sorry?
Tree up yet?
Oh, it's not going up, is it?
No,
I won't be here.
I don't know if he was doing the early Christmas thing, getting the tree
up.
I'm
doing the early Christmas, as in it's a good excuse to drink Baileys, and not that I need an excuse.
I've got the Chinese chocolate orange Baileys the other day.
I was going to buy one this week. I've had a normal bottle of Baileys already. I'm gonna try a Terry's one. It's one of my favourite things of Christmas. Is Baileys.
Yeah, same here. Good chocolatey taste, then you get this little orange kick. Beautiful it was, Kelly. Really nice. I enjoyed that earlier on in the week. Had a couple of glasses of that one. That was beautiful. It went down really well. Sylph under pressure from Rozalski, and actually looking at Dan now. Look, Dan he's nowhere near Schmidt. He's a couple of seconds behind Schmidt. He's Dan Davis. I'd say about a second and a half maybe. But Dan Davis then has jumped Sylph though. Sorry.
Yes, absolutely. So. Sylph missing out quite a lot, quite heavily, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just struggled since he's got to that 20-minute phase where the BMW does strange things. He just seems to have. Yeah, I don't know. He not been just himself, has he? Not been himself. He's now got Rozalski and Skunky behind him. Rob Ramsell getting right out the way. Doesn't want to be a part of this lap traffic. Well done to Rob there for that one. We have had a retirement in this race, and the retirement was that of. Am I reading that right? Brandon Williams has retired, so Williams will carry a Coliban into Bathurst.
Okay, absolutely, and that's another.
Sorry, Brandon Williams will carry a qualifying ban, provided it wasn't through a disconnection or something.
Yes, it could be through a disconnection. Quite right. So, what's going on track? Skunky's not far off the back of Rozalski, and Rozalski in reasonably close company to Selth as well, and yeah, and Dan again. Selth not a million miles away from Dan. So the net winner out of all that was Schmidt over those pit stops out of that little group.
And he just keeps seeming to do this at the moment, doesn't he?
He does,
that's what's
doesn't he?
sort of putting him in this position in the championship where he's just knocking on the door a little bit. Because he keeps on knocking on that door, doesn't he? He's always in that top 5 or 6 drivers at the moment.
Yeah, and talking to chat about mince pies, yes, I'm going to do the mince pies things as well. I'm going to do mince pies with some Rodder's Cornish cream. That's the best Cornish, the best clotted cream. Oh, down sideways through maggots and beckets. That's the best clotted cream in the world. As you know, Cornish pasties are the best pasties, and Rattler is the best cider, and all those things. So. Yeah, Rodder's clotted cream is the best, and it's made about a mile and a half from where I live. So yes, I'm going to get on the mince pies thing. That's going to be part of my alternative Christmas. Roast dinner, Baileys. Yeah, but we won't be bothering to put the tree up. What's the point?
Yeah, what's the point? You'll be in New Zealand where it'll all be decorated.
Exactly.
And nice.
I'm sure they'll have trees there.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sure they'll have a tree on the back of the boat when we're having a barbie.
Self putting Dan under some pressure. He's dropped Rosowski, but Skunky's putting the pressure on Rosowski. Further down the pack, Vitas looking to get within a second of Matt Wright. He's pulled away from Langley a little bit. Butcher has just been overtaken by Mike Matthews, or is putting pressure back on Mike Matthews, and then the gap further down, Overtaker has just got past Watkowiak, and Watkowiak trying to come back at him into club, can't do it there, so Overtaker moves up into 20th place at the moment. Overtaker just not coming through the pack as quick as I expected him to. Harris in the pits from the lead of this race. A gold driver has led in the pro category this afternoon, and O'Reilly will take the lead of that one back. Where will Harris slot out? But Dan Davis at the moment fending off Self.
I tell you what, Ben Rook is clawing the gap back to Kieran O'Reilly. Kieran O'Reilly was way ahead, and I don't know where Ben Rook was exactly when Kieran O'Reilly went back in, but yeah, Ben Rook only 5 seconds down the road now. If Kieran O'Reilly has a moment, which Kieran O'Reilly seems to be almost robotic at the moment, he seems to be unfallible.
Who's that?
It's
Castro. It was Castro, the back marker.
He was getting out of the way. I think it unsighted Dan a little bit, because Dan went.
He's got a drive-through
penalty.
He's got a drive-through, so he's been unsighted. He's taken the track limits. Had a moment. He's got himself a drive-through penalty. So Castro has gone off the road there to let the leaders through. That is clearly put off Dan. Kelly was watching from Dan's point of view while he was looking at Skunky and Rosowski. Looking for himself, apologies. But Dan off the track, drive-through penalty, and I can tell you now, that'll cost Dan 23 seconds in the pits. Now, that's actually a bonus, because if it was the normal pit lane, the Formula 1 pit lane, it would be a lot longer. And Dan, once again off the circuit through club, Silf up the inside. Dan's once again off the circuit. Dan just having a bit of a mare at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rosowski's goes past him. Silf went past him. Rogowski's
Dan's just had a little wiggle as well, so Skunky's just got through.
Skunky through. Yeah,
something's not right on that Lexus. Something isn't right. To nail every corner, to keep it going as best as he can, to come out as high as he can and give himself the best chance after his drive-through. But that was at Maggots and Beckett's, and Dan was still struggling through there of Abbey. So yeah, Dan, something not quite right with that Lexus just on this lap at the moment.
Absolutely. And looking at the top 4 here now, you've got Kieran O'Reilly, Ben Rook, Schmidt and Silf, and Rosowski as well, all championship contenders here. I mean, everyone's a championship contender still at the moment, or most of them. But all those as contenders as Dan goes to serve his drive-through.
He does indeed. So 23 seconds will be lost in the pits for Dan Davis. So where will he re-emerge? And so Cloudon's now into the top 10. He'll be up into 9th place when he passes Dan. Harris just behind him. Matt Wright right on the back of Harris as well. Good little fight this behind Jamal. When's Dan going to be off his limiter? Well, he's not appeared at the bottom of the pit lane yet. Vitas is through.
He's still.
Langley's through. There's Cardno. You can't see Dan on pit exit at the moment. There's Bolton.
He's
still no down. He's off the limiter now, and he'll come out in front of Mike Matthews. So 16th place, Dan Davis will be now He'll be very unhappy with that. Skunky putting the pressure on Rosowski though at the minute. 0.2 of a second. In fact, it's 1/10 of a second as they come in towards Stowe.
Absolutely. Rob Smith saying Tesco's have got deep-filled mince pies, because that seems to be the topic of sim play this evening. Now, as we get into the latter state of the evening,
but of course everybody wants to talk about. Chris, is your tray up yet?
No, it's food that they're talking about.
It's Chris, but they're all about mince pies, and you only get them at Christmas.
I was thinking about pigs in blankets just a minute ago when we started talking about food.
Don't.
I mean, I don't need Christmas for pigs in blankets, but hey, pigs in blankets.
It annoys me that people only have pigs in blankets at Christmas.
What's that all about? That's just weird.
What's
Matt, for you, is it turkey? Christmas dinner?
Oh, 100%. Turkey? Yeah, turkey. I cook the turkey.
I'm not a big fan.
I cook the turkey, do a nice moist turkey. The 500 has stopped at Maggots and Beckett's. That is Gillies who has stopped off track. Not sure why. Yeah, I do a nice moist turkey for Christmas. The missus tends to get a small duck, because she tends to like a bit of duck at Christmas. I'm not a fan of duck.
Lamb is a favourite in our house. Both me and Hayley
we have a bit of lamb, pork and chicken through the year, so we only have the turkey once a year. She'll have a bit of duck once a year as well. So, but pigs in blankets for me are the most underrated thing in the world, because
Rob in the chat, chicken is nicer than turkey for Christmas. I don't mind chicken either. I just find turkey a little bit dry myself.
Now, hang on, we've got a couple of drives in the pits. What's happened here? Schmidt is back in the pit lane. What's
that about?
I've just noticed a little bit of lag. Did Schmidt and Komar get disconnected? We're down to 30 drivers from 32. Gillies has returned to the pit lane. Stardog just got DC'd. So Stardog is the other one that's gone. So I think Schmidt and Komar also got DC'd. What a shame for Schmidt. He was running on the podium.
That's nasty. Yeah, that's nasty. Damn that internet. I have justified it in the past as the same as a mechanical failure in real life, but it's just so heartbreaking when you're doing nothing wrong, and all of a sudden it
Well, this now is the fight for, I believe, is this now the fight for the podium? No, it's not, because Sylphie's now back on the podium. Well, that has helped Dan out a little bit. Dan's back up to 14th now.
In the chat, bad chatter about pigs in blankets from Alistair Cummins. Shocking behaviour. Why would that ever be shocking behaviour?
Gilly's wheels died, apparently. That's what he's just put in the Discord. Cardno on a charge. Well, he's 4th in class, and he's on the back of Langley. He's just put a lap on Rob Ransell. There is Langley, who's currently on for another podium in the gold class. Harry's still putting the pressure on Clouden class. Put Clouden now up into 7th. Due to some disconnects, but you have to feel for Schmidt. We've been bigging Schmidt up all night about how good he's been at just being in that top 6. Disconnect, he's got back in, so he'll be able to try and score some points. But you have to feel for him. Komar as well down the order. That's put Rob Ramsell up to 26th, so they're going to go a lap or two down at the moment. And Skunky McGowan putting the casual drivers are putting the Momentum Motorsport driver of Rosowski under a lot of pressure as they start lap 21 of their race.
Yep, absolutely. I'm on board with Cardano at the moment, who's in this three-way fight for second place, or the last of the podium positions for the gold drivers. And just under 20 minutes to go. Still a few scraps on track. The top group has spaced out a little bit. Although Skunky, as you said, is still on the back of Rosowski, and McGowan as well. Yeah, he's in close company actually. So this could pan out into quite a little scrap as we go forward.
Yep, could indeed. Matt Wright on the back of Harris now. This is allowing Jamal just to creep away a little bit. And not bad to say Jamal wasn't going to race tonight, is it? A 2nd and a 7th at the moment.
I didn't realise he wasn't going to race tonight. I didn't catch up with Jamal tonight. I think he's had a good evening. He's on my shortlist for driver of the day today with an overall strong result. I was looking at
Schmidt
Jamal
as well, but I think I might have to sway to Jamal just because of Schmidt's disconnection. I know it's out of his control, but we are down to 30 again. And Stardog's got back in, and Komar and Schmidt are out on track. So.
Skunky having a look at Rosowski into Village, Matt. Sorry, he had a look at Rosowski. Rosowski giving racing room. Somebody spins.
That's Ben Rook. That's Ben Rook. Ben Rook's around. So Ben Rook's had a spin and he's dropped down to 6th place from 2nd. So what has happened to Ben there? I don't see. Oh, actually, Mike
could have just been on power.
Mike and no, that's not Mike. Sorry, who is that by Sylph? That is Jimenez and Schmidt and Komar. So has he lost it on power, or has he had a bit of a tap or an incident with one of the back markers then? I've dropped back down to Overtaker, who's on the back of Mike Matthews at the moment, Kelly. So you keep an eye on the Skunky fight, but heartbreak for Ben now.
I couldn't see that as any cars. I was on with Skunky, and the car was still turning when we come round. I didn't see any other cars in the foreground. So I think Ben lost it on by himself, maybe. Ferrero Rocher as well for my fake Christmas.
Nice. Can't beat a Ferrero Rocher.
Yeah, they only come out at Christmas.
Yeah, them and the After 8 mints.
After 8, of course, yeah, and Milk Tray and Celebrations, Heroes, all that stuff. Yeah, definitely. We'll have some of them on our fake Christmas.
Yeah, I didn't see it. His tyres are shot, says Chris in the chat.
Obviously didn't change.
Yeah, we noticed last night actually that a few of the drivers who didn't change tyres struggled as the race went on. So is that bad news for Ben, as Mike still defends from Overtaker, going back to the McGowan Skunky Rosowski fight at the moment? But is that bad news for Ben? Where is Clouden? 4.5 seconds behind.
Bad news for Team Audio Sport, because it's
really
a 1-2 for MSA Racing at the moment.
1-2. Dan's had his drive through down in 14th. Ben's now down in 6th, and Clouden's only 4.5 behind him. So yeah, real bad news. And if Clouden gets through, then Harris, Matt Wright might be on the back of Ben as well, because they're all pretty close. Just going to drop back down to Overtaker and Mike Matthews. And Overtaker looks like he's just got the move done. I think he did take tyres. It was a 30-second stop, so he would have taken tyres then. So maybe his tyres, maybe he's had a big spin then, and he's just really flat spotted the tyres.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, we don't know. It is easy. You can, if you dip a wheel into that section, in that village section, if you dip a wheel on the outside, it's very easy for the car to turn around. You know, one of those silly little spins that you can have when you're just not expecting the car to do that. You know, and we've all done it, haven't we, Matt? You know, you just dip a wheel and all of a sudden the car's round and you're like, what happened there? As Skunky is having another look at Rosowski into the start-finish straight. He's really close. He can reach out and touch that BMW. Can't overtake him, Cops, can you? Apparently. And he isn't going to. He's
so they said.
So they say. And but he fights for another day. Rosowski, again, isn't a million miles away from Sylph. I think the only one who's sorry, that's Jimenez in front.
In between,
is another couple of seconds up the road.
Oh, Rosowski's had a bad run. Sorry, Kelly, over the curb there. A little bit of a wiggle. Has that given Rosowski Jimenez the flash of the lights to move out the way? He could really use Jimenez here to box Skunky in, couldn't he? Yeah, to try and put Skunky a bit further back. Skunky has a look up in towards Stowe. And Skunky, I'm glad Skunky's got back to that Ferrari. He looks a better driver in the Ferrari. The championship may not reflect that at the moment, with him sat down in 17th place in the Platinum category. But I think Skunky's had a better season in this Ferrari than what he did in the McLaren. Is he going to look for the up and under on Rosowski? No, he's not just there. So he waits to fight that one another day.
Yeah. When you start moving out of position in that section, it's quite easy then again to break traction and be in trouble. Jimenez with the blue flags now. He's going to have to move out of the way in a minute, and he's coming into this village section.
Oh, Skunky's going up the inside. Here we go.
Tried this before.
Oh, he's had to get that one stopped pretty much. Rosowski was not going to leave him the room there. Jimenez now well wide to get out of the way, but Skunky's looking for the moves on Rosowski now, and Rosowski would have just been a little bit frustrated by Jimenez there.
Yeah, probably. And Skunky's tried that one a couple of times before into the first part of the village complex there. And Rosowski had it covered last time, and he had it covered this time as well. Just took a wider line and let himself run out and keep track position. So Rosowski's got that move dialed. Skunky needs an alternative move. I would be trying to stay close in that section and maybe get him into the next corner, down the inside of the next corner. But Skunky needs to have a bit of a rethink. He's definitely quicker, but Rosowski's defending really well.
Do you know what? I've just had a look for driver of the day. I'll get the driver of the day poll out in a minute, Dr. Davin Lamas. Matt Wright, 9th and a 4th. That's not bad for a guy who's been struggling in the Platinum category this season. Not a bad drive for him in the Platinum category, but I think it may swing the way of Jamal Clouden at this moment in time.
Well, it's your decision out there, guys. You choose your driver of the day. Matt will give you a poll. He'll give you a poll of some candidates.
I'm looking at
but
one
it's your choice
for gold, and if he gets onto the podium again in gold, I think Cardno will get my gold driver of the day.
Funny that, I was thinking that as well. We're on the same page for a change on driver of the day tonight. At the moment, we can see. I mean, Skunky's putting in a great performance here, but then so is Brzezowski at defending. So they're fighting for the last podium position here as well, with Bren Rook and his spin. As again, McGowan's having a watching brief over this battle. He's not quite there, but if something kicked off, he would be right in it then. MSA boys out front, 1 and 2. You don't know how much that pains me to see them in a 1-2
There you go,
position.
Skunky again, Kelly. No, he doesn't. Tucks back in. Sorry,
no, he
Kelly.
doesn't. No, maybe he's listening to me. Rosowski's got that covered, to be honest. I was going to say he wants to dive one up the inside right there, but Rosowski is right over there and got that covered. That corner, it's quicker to go out wide, and any corner is kind of the shortest point from A to B, in and out. But you can cover the inside. If you go out wide, it's a faster route, but you leave yourself very open to an attack up the inside. But Rosowski's got that covered. Rosowski's driving well. This is not his first rodeo. He's definitely driving like a true veteran, and doing a great job of holding back a very racy Skunky.
That is Gillies in the chat. My wheel died. No pedals, no wheel, no nothing. Can't get it to boot up again either. So
that's a fan attack.
There. Cardno's 2 tenths off the back of Langley at the moment. So we said about Cardno possibly getting another gold podium. Well, he's right on the back of it for the podium at this moment. And Skunky fighting for a platinum podium and an outright podium in this race by currently sat 2 tenths off the back. But he just cannot find a way through. Right, Clouden's gap to Ben stayed around that 4.5 second mark, so Ben must have got things back into a rhythm, and Clouden coming under pressure from your gold leader of Harris once again, as Cardno's dropped off the back there. He was looking at decent results as well. Indeed you was, Gillies. It's a shame for that to have happened to you, sadly.
Is it a Fanatec? Are you using a Fanatec? I'm not asking you, mate. You don't know. You're not in his living room, are you? You know?
No. Of course not.
No,
I'm here. We do.
No, so I'm asking. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm asking Gillies if it's a Fanatec that he's using.
Right, Thrustmaster. There you go, Thrustmaster.
Thrustmaster. Right,
what a shame.
Okay, yeah.
Mike Matthews.
Not an old one, I hope. Could
definitely hasn't worked here, by the way, because he's 18th place and he's just gone wide. I think his tyres may have gone.
Worth a try, though, wasn't it?
It was worth a try. I thought it was a bold move.
Yep.
It's not paid off. He's under pressure from Manavola and Watkowiak here. So could be down in 20th place, 6.5 clear of Messino after that. So interesting to see. Skunky's dropped off the back of Brzezowski a little bit, and McGowan's dropped right off the back of Skunky. So interesting to see there. Dan Davies after his drive-throughs 2.9 off of Bolton. And we've then got Vitas with Langley, Cardno and Bolton all within a second of each other as they come down the straight. So Dan could be looking at a possibly top 10. 7.5 minutes to go, though. That seems a little unlikely.
He's got a lot to do from there with 7.5 minutes, and there's some competent drivers there. It's not going to be a walk in the park, that. I'm on board with Harris, who's still hassling the back of Clouden for that 7th place. And again, Harris, your gold driver, and Clouden very much a platinum driver. So Harris with another good run. He's showing some real form in the mid part of this season, isn't he?
Yeah, it really is. And he's kind of now with Harris ahead of Vitas, only one car between them, and that's Matt Wright. So Harris could do with Langley, Cardno, maybe Bolton and Dan to get past Vitas here, because if you look at the championship halfway stage of the season, Harris 61 behind Vitas. So Harris just going to start chipping away points over Vitas here, but would love a couple of other cars to get in between, as Skunky there had a look on Rosowski in towards Club, and Langley then 9 tenths off the back of Vitas, can't do anything at the moment. Harris
having a look into the Vale chicane. Clouden's got that one covered, gets back over to the right hand side on the traction, and it's Harris has a little bit of a wobble with the back end of that BMW as he tries to get the power down out of the other side of the chicane, but not quite happening, as Clouden lives for another day on this one.
Yep, indeed he does, and they've still got that of Matt Wright just behind them two by
somebody off in the foreground. Is that someone getting out of the way?
Not too sure.
Blue and white
Can't see
car,
the
look like a
car
McLaren.
It's car number 5. That is Schmidt.
Right.
Yeah, so Schmidt, who's obviously a couple of laps down after after the disconnection, not been able to get him back into a rhythm. Hibbs has got Butcher and Butcher has been overtaken by Hibbs and has now got overtaker for company, who's looking racy coming in towards the village corner. Going to try and hold it round the outside, stick it up the inside at the loop. Can't do that there. So Hibbs is through and up into 15th place ahead of Butcher. And then back to this fight. Cardno, Langley, Bolton getting onto them. Langley still within a second though of Vitas. And 5.1 seconds to Vitas now to Matt Wright, who is actually within a couple of tenths of Harris. So Matt Wright's had a good lap somewhere, because he's pulled back 0.4 of a second and has got right onto the back of these two. Still O'Reilly leads, and Cardno's into the pits. Oh no, Cardno!
Whoa.
He's in the pit lane.
Ah.
That's got to be out of fuel. That's got to be out of fuel.
Yeah. Oh, what a shame. That really spoils my driver of the day.
According to this, he's got 6 litres left as he's crossed the line. So that would
have been enough.
I don't know.
3 litres, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're probably going to get 3 laps out of this. So yeah, you're probably
maybe.
One
we
lap
would be a lap short. Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. That is a shame. Does that change my driver of the day for gold?
Does it?
I don't know where Harris finished in the first race. Let's just take a quick look at who was on the podium in the first race for gold. It was Cardno, Rob Smith, and De Court. Harris was 6th in gold. So, I don't know. It's a tough one.
Tom, you've made such a dilemma.
You have. Schmidt's back into the pit lane. Where's Tom come out?
Yeah.
This is 20th. No, 21st. Mazzina's through. De Court's through. Rob Smith's through. Cairns is through. So he's 24th. From what was 12th place to 24th.
Yeah, gutted for him. Yeah. Bit of a schoolboy one that, but there you go. In the chat, talking about how fantastic Thrustmaster steering wheels are, and what is the best setup, Matt? What is it really?
I really don't know, dude.
They really have. They've all got their problems, haven't they? They've all got their problems. You know what
I'm going to say is probably Logitech.
Well,
let's be honest. Mine had brake problems where it was flickering on, but that came after years. So did Dan's, so is yours, so is Kieran Argent's.
After years.
That's been years of use.
I've had 5 years out of mine before I started playing up.
I have.
I just might buy another G29, you know.
Maybe go for the updated version.
Yeah, maybe. They say the Pro is expensive, isn't it? The Logitech Pro.
The direct drive one,
I don't know if the reviews are all that good. The only one, I haven't had a lot of feedback about the Moser, being that it's not really a PlayStation unit, is it?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I know Liam Bostock, Bozzy Boy, got himself a Moser and got the PlayStation adapter for it, as we'll come back to that in a moment.
Oh, Skunky with
got
a run.
The inside out, the
he has, but he's on the outside. Yeah,
it can be done though, Kelly. It can be done.
Of course it can. Yeah.
No, he's not going to touch back in. Liam Bostock had a Moser with the PlayStation adapter, and he just said that the steering just didn't seem to get a feel for it because of the fact it was done through an adapter for the PlayStation. So,
I looked at and we're having some feedback now. Chris R said, I think the Logitech is the most reliable. Seems to be, definitely. Gareth Anderson, Moser, ? The pricing is unreal. I haven't really priced them. I thought they was competitive as a Fanatec.
I don't know, because of being PlayStation, I've never really looked.
Yeah.
So.
And Alistair Cummins saying that his G...
that's the G29 for us PlayStation users.
Right, okay. And that's the updated... Is that the updated
No,
Logitech?
that's the same one that you've got for the but for the Xbox.
Oh, I see. Right, yeah. Right, okay. And he's saying this is rubbish.
Rubbish. It's going all right after 5 years use, apart from the occasional double upshift, and that's what I mean.
Mine's doing that. Well, my wheel now is Daniel's old wheel, it upshifts all by itself from time to time. Which would be great if it did it at the right time, but it doesn't. So
interesting things here, Kelly. Skunky, McGowan, and now Ben's having a look at McGowan. So Ben's back into play for a top 5 all of a sudden. Harris still on Clouding. Langley within 8/10 of Vitas. Matt Wright's just fell back off the rear of Harris again. Langley's pulled away from Bolton. Bolton's coming under pressure now from Dan.
There's some...
in this race.
We've only got a minute left, haven't we?
Yeah, where's O'Reilly? O'Reilly's at club. I think... Oh, are we going to get one more in?
I mean, this is sizing up again. Now, I mean, McGowan's coming back at Skunky and Rosowski as they still continue to go at it down the Wellington Straight.
Oh, here we go. And is this the move Skunky needs? Round the outside of Stowe. Rosowski just runs him out of the room. And then Skunky keeps it in there. Is this going to be the inside? No, backs out of that one.
No. Yeah, I think Skunky got out of that. He might have had to get out of it for a track limits violation. He may have had to step off it. Look at McGowan and Ben Rook back in play. Oh my God, this is one of those nights where we could have done with another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
As Ben goes very wide on the GT straight.
Bring back the 70-minute races.
Bring them back. Absolutely.
Bring them back. Yeah. O'Reilly's coming down the Wellington Straight. Kelly, keep your eye on the Rosowski, Skunky, McGowan and Rook fight. I'm just going to stay with O'Reilly in case this is the last lap of the race. 10 seconds. I have a feeling it may be. He could probably roll it to the line at the moment. He's that far in front. But Kieran O'Reilly is going to take another race win. And interestingly, his second feature race win of the season. So there'll still be 4 feature race winners from 5. O'Reilly wins. Sylph is going to come home for a very impressive second place. Quite fortunate, but impressive nonetheless. And then it is that fight for third place at the end of this one.
And it's still on.
Kelly?
Skunky all over the back of Rosowski. McGowan coming into play. I think they had a slight touch between them, but I think it's job done. I think Rosowski's just got to keep the power down as he comes across the line. He's going to cross the line to take that third place with Skunky with a very good attack. McGowan back in play as he hits the back of Skunky on the cool down. Ben Rook just in there as well. I think that
Michael Harris is your gold winner. Vitas second in gold. Langley's going to take another podium in gold. That's third place and 11th on the road, ahead of Bolton and Dan Davies. Dan got within 3/10 at the end. Hibbs now in 14th place. So what will Hibbs be able to do at the end of this one as he's coming to the line? He's well clear of Overtaker at the moment, so he's done a pretty good job there. 14th place for him. Overtaker is down in 15th place, but a good result nonetheless. Butcher 16th, Manavola 17th, Kowiak in 18th, Mike Matthews 19th, Messino going to come across the line for a 20th. So not a bad result there for him as he crosses the line there. DeCourt 21st, Keynes is, and my game